Hello, Lucas.
Hey, Darren.
Boo! Oh, okay, there we go.
It takes a while to get to
It takes
my
a while to
side,
process.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was some scary shit, and that's what we are going to do here. There
We're gonna
are...
take some scary shits?
well, maybe, but there are some stories on the internet which pretend to be horror. Most of the time they just end up being really horrible, so...
Horrible!
Thank you for that input. But yeah, we are going to read some of these stories, and hopefully it will be good. So let's get into the story.
So you've told me this story has something to do with Canada.
Yes, well, it's not very good, but simply because it's set in Canada, I felt like reading it.
Land of the free. Actually, the other land of the free.
One of the multiple lands of the free.
Yeah, how funny that works.
One of the members of the Council of Nations of the Free, Canada.
We're glad to be here.
So, the story is called Forgotten Something.
Forgotten what?
Forgotten Something.
Forgotten something.
Something. It's not very specific.
It's the beauty of it. You don't know what he's forgotten.
By Whatster97.
Oh fuck, he's got numbers in his name. That's a universal sign of quality.
Lately, I've been listening to a lot of radio. FM mostly, but I occasionally will tune into some AM stations. I live in Ontario, Canada, just about
Yes,
50
that's
kilometers north of Ottawa, the country of Canada's capital, in a small farming community, so there really aren't a lot of stations up here.
Well, I haven't been up 50 kilometers north of Ottawa, but I imagine that the radio stations go pretty far, because they get stuff from, like, Niagara Falls.
But listen, there are enough stations to keep you satisfied. I'll go on long drives around these empty roads just to listen to the radio, because that's the only way I can do it, apparently.
Yeah, like, apparently you don't have boomboxes in rural Ontario.
So they were actually some of the best times I've had up here. I especially love listening to these AM stations where they talk about the universe, religion, nature, and mysteries and such.
They do?
One night, I decided to go on another drive and listen to the radio. It was 6 p.m. One night, it was 6 p.m.
Oh, was it June 6, 2006 at 6 p.m.?
Probably, but it looks like that Canadian time works differently. A night is 6 p.m. already.
Well, I mean, if it's like winter, then yeah.
It was 6 p.m. and fall, so it was getting dark. One night. So I brought a flashlight and my cell, which, if you do not speak Canadian, is a mobile phone, in case anything was to go wrong.
I don't call it cell. I just call it my phone. Maybe it's different in rural Ontario.
Maybe. I got into my escape. I don't know what that is. It's
It's
a car,
a type of
but
car, yeah. But I guess it's like a sedan.
pictured in the video. I don't know what that is, but
I
car.
think it's a Ford, but
Oh,
don't take my word for it.
alright. So he got in his Ford product, started it up, drove out of...
Is it actually a Ford?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Started it up, drove out of my driveway, and turned on the radio. Flipping through the stations, I came across one that was mostly static, but I could make out a faint voice. Curious, I decided to drive down a road I hadn't been on before, to see if the signal would get stronger. And lo behold, I was right. It started to become clear, as I heard the voice was a man's voice, although it sounded like a different language. The only languages we have here are the slang farmers use and English, which is similar, haha.
Ha 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 ha.
No, like that's written
Okay.
in the story.
Oh. They actually write out ha ha.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Doesn't rural Ontario have some sort of a French peasant dialect?
There actually is a French peasant dialect, but I think that's only in Quebec. I don't know if there's any Frenchies that come to Ontario.
I think that the French peasant dialect is called the actual French. I drove down this road as the sun went down. The signal became clearer, but at the same time, the dark of night began to flow out from the sky and onto the road. I recognized the language. It sounded Russian. Thanks to my Russian history class I took. Yeah.
Is this the fabled Russian scanners I've been hearing so much about?
Stop using references no one understands.
But I have to. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
Yeah, this person learned Russian from a Russian history class, so good for him.
I mean, I imagine when you're doing like a Russian history class in rural Ontario, as you know, rural Ontario has a lot of Russian history classes. I imagine you would learn some Russian words.
So the man sounded scared. I could hear him yelling, but he wasn't directly at the microphone. He was in the room, yelling for his life. Perhaps a loyal talk show host still explaining to the listeners what was happening to him. But what was happening to him?
Something.
I drove for about 10 minutes listening to this, because it was very interesting and entertaining.
I mean...
A person just yelling for his life.
I guess, maybe...
People in rural Ontario are into that.
Well, I mean, they don't have, like, internet, or... I'm sure they do have internet, but it's, like, slow.
Like, the technology didn't go beyond radio. I drove for about 10 minutes listening to this, when I started to hear him scream.
Wasn't he already screaming?
He didn't do that previously, he was only yelling for his life. I jumped out of my seat as I heard how loud it was. I quickly turned down the volume, but at the same time I tried to hear what he was screaming. Despite not being able to speak the language, apparently, he was screaming the exact same thing over and over. It sounded like he was saying... My rookie.
My rookie?
My rookie.
Oh, so this is an actual word that exists.
2 words, yeah. Means my hands, but oh no.
Lucas! Why are you not working?
We actually are working. We're recording something.
Oh, did I just intrude on the recording?
A little bit.
Oh shit.
Wow, that was a spooky thing that happened.
The creepypasta is seeping into the world.
Oh no.
So yeah, anyways, he was screaming that.
So my rookie's like hands?
Yeah, my hands. I had no idea what that meant, but whatever it was, he seemed shocked about it. I eventually got so disturbed I turned the radio off completely, turned my car around and was ready to go back home. As I was turning my car around, I began to hear a faint sound in the distance. I cautiously rolled down my window when I heard a deathly familiar sound. It was the man screaming. I thought to myself, he must be in trouble. I needed to help him.
So wait, how was this like? Do you have like a CB radio or something? And he was just screaming into that?
I don't know. He was perhaps a loyal talk show host, still explaining to the listeners what was happening to him.
So this is like some Russian trucker who was just like screaming about something.
You tell me about rural Ontario. I have no idea what's going on.
I mean, I'm sure there's like truckers, but I don't know if they're Russian.
In rural
Probably
Ontario, shipping all these products.
Well, I mean,
on abandoned like forest roads at night.
Lost Highway by.
So yeah, there was a deathly familiar sound. It was the man screaming. I thought to myself, he must be in trouble. I needed to help him, but what if he was being killed? Or questioned by someone and tortured?
While running? Or wait, is he running or is he just screaming?
He's screaming about his hands in the room for his loyal talk show listeners.
So
away from the
he's
microphone.
on the road and there's just this random like shack and he's just like doing this talk show in this shack.
Well, probably. I began to feel sick. Either way, I don't want to be a part of whatever is going on here. But I remembered that I had been chopping some wood yesterday for my parents.
Of course, he's gonna go there and he's gonna get like eaten by a grue.
And I forgot to put the axe I used back in my tool shed. I got out of my car and with my flashlight in my hand and my cell in my pocket. I opened the trunk and picked through the junk until I found my axe. Am I really doing this? I thought to myself. Am I really going to take this axe and kill off whatever is in there?
Well, that's a pretty big assumption that you're gonna kill something.
Yeah. I really hadn't I mean, he's going to kill the Russian.
Oh.
I really hadn't
Yeah, we don't want no commies in...
a rural Ontario. I really
don't
hadn't
know.
wanted to be a part of this in the first place, but I'm the only soul around, and that man needs help. It's not a coincidence that I happened to be around listening to the radio station he was broadcasting on. Luck is on his side. I began running down the road, illuminating my view with my flashlight.
He's running down the road, not in his car.
Yeah, it's faster, you see. Like fucking Ford Escape. I mean, seriously.
I mean,
Might
if
as
there's
well.
like something there, you could run it down with the car. Not have to worry about like getting blood all over your hands or like breaking your axe or...
I came to a dead end with a small hill ending the road dead in its tracks. That's what happens with roads, infrastructure.
Oh yeah, there's like a small hill, it's just like fuck, we have to build around it or just stop.
Like, roads usually lead somewhere. They have a purpose. They just don't fuck off in the middle of nowhere.
Then again, this is rural Ontario.
Yeah, okay, I don't know about that one. So I'm getting closer, I thought to myself. I climbed up the hill and saw nothing more than a small building with a radio antennae on the roof. Shut up. In the near distance, with one lit window. I crouched and began to watch as I had heard the noise stop while going up the hill.
So how big this hill is again?
A small hill ending the road.
Oh, because I just imagined just a little like bump on the...
For 5 minutes, I heard absolutely nothing.
Was he keeping count?
Probably. He must have died. There is nothing I can do now. So I decided that I'll go back to my car and call 911 and explain to them what happened.
Call Al Qaeda.
I would also like to...
But wait. Because I was gonna say, if he has a cell phone with him, why doesn't he just call 911 when
Yeah,
he's...
I was about to point that out.
I have to go back to my car and call 911 when I could just call 911 where I'm standing and save this...
Quote the previous part of the story. I got out of my car with my flashlight in my hand and my cell in my pocket.
And quote the story, I ran down the road when I could have been driving.
Okay, but then, for a split second, I caught something in the corner of my eye. Scared by it, curious, I decided... Okay, there is a 2 missing. It sort of threw me off in a sentence. Scared but curious, I decided look back at the shack. And I saw something standing in front of the lit window. It was just standing there. I couldn't make out what it was, but it wasn't moving. A chill ran down my spine as I realized it had noticed me. I was frozen in fear, I couldn't move. It let out a terrible scream as it began to move towards me.
Oh no, it's Slender.
Oh, I got
brain.
up and ran back, leaving the axe there. I ran back to the car. I arrived at my car and didn't bother to call the cops. Whatever it was, I had little confidence a cop would help. I drove back at speeds of about 50 kilometers on a 20-kilometer road.
Man. Most of the streets on just like local streets are like 40 kilometers, so like 10 more, holy shit.
I would also like to point out he specifies the speed with a unit of distance.
Oh, I don't know why, but I filled in 50 kilometers an hour, like in my head.
No, he drove back at speeds of about 50 kilometers. That's not a speed.
You could tell this person isn't Canadian who's writing this because
he has a Ford Escape.
That too, like...
An appropriate name. But yeah, I made it to my house, got out and ran to the door. I opened it, locked it and proceeded to run to the guest bedroom in the basement. Closed the door and shut my eyes.
So what, did he just like fall over and just like... Or did he just kind of like melt in a corner with his like hands over his eyes, just like, so I don't see him, then he won't see me?
He opened the door, locked the door, went to the basement, closed the door to the basement, and just closed his eyes. I don't know where he gathered the bravery to go up to something with an axe. Like, if this is the only defense mechanism you have, I don't know.
I mean, he's got 2 doors that are, like, protecting him, so I think he's good.
Well, about that, I woke up feeling extremely cold. I must have forgotten to turn on the furnace.
Yeah. I think a furnace is like the heater, basically.
Why doesn't he say heater? I'm getting World War II flashbacks when furnace appears. So I went upstairs and saw that my door was in fact opened.
Oh shit.
The one that he opened and locked. Well, okay, to be fair, he didn't say he closed it. He could have just locked it while it was open.
So he just like had the door open, but then just used the like turned the lock. And it's just like that'll stop him.
Probably. I was paralyzed with fear, but I decided to look out my door. What I saw was a pale creature on 2 legs holding a large burlap sack, which looked like it was stuffed with body parts over its shoulder at the end of my driveway.
What are you buying?
It turned around and glared at me, then presumed to grin, and it presumed to grin? Okay.
Actually, presumed to grin.
Presumed to grin and walk down my street as it cackled with laughter. I closed the door and didn't bother locking it, as I went to the kitchen and saw a bag and a piece of paper. I read what was written on the paper, which read, "Looks like you had forgotten something." Well, it's in full caps, so it's like, "Looks like you have forgotten something."
Oh my god, it's the title of the story!
Yeah, with its face crudely drawn on the paper, grinning the same way it had earlier. As for the bag, care to guess what was inside?
Was it the Russian dude?
Oh, come the fuck on, that would make sense. Inside it was the axe
radio?
I had left on the hill.
What? Wait, that's not how it ends.
That's how it ends.
Are you fucking kidding? What?
That's what we call an anticlimactic ending.
God! So how is this scary other than the spooky creature with the bag?
Well,
So wait, what he said he was like what was the description of this dude? Was it just like it's a dude with a sack and with a body part bag?
a pale creature on 2 legs. That's the description.
A pale creature with 2 legs.
There's a lot of things that can fit into that category.
Like, you know, a person.
Yeah, probably.
A werewolf.
Or a man who is also slender.
So seriously, that's how it ends. It's just like
Yeah.
here's the that is stupid.
To end it on a positive note, this is on the actual Creepypasta wiki, and it got pretty positive
Wait,
comments.
what?
Yeah, this is not like some troll pasta shit.
What is this? Is like someone? Is this on this like the serious Creepypasta wiki with quality assurance?
Well, I don't know about that,
I mean, okay, yeah, but the people actually read this,
but yeah.
and you said there was positive comments.
Scared
Are-
XD. Not really, but good all the same. 9.5 out of 10.
9.5
really
out
good.
of
10
10.
out of 10. Nice monster, eh? 10 out of 10, bro. Nice creepy, but I feel it's missing something. 9.5 out of 10.
I feel like it's missing something, like 0.5.
Yeah, seems like the monster was a good guy after all. 10 out of 10.
You know, he's a good old chap.
Yo, nice ending. I was afraid it would end up being cheesy, but damn, 10 out of 10.
Is there a negative review?
The most negative rating is 7 out of 10.
Oh fuck. Well, I mean, 7 out of 10. That's pretty much like a 0 out of 10. Yeah, twist ending's pissing me off now, because it's like, okay, I get it, but what's the point? What's the point of all this? What am I supposed to get out of this? That there's some spooky dude with bodies and like a bag, and he just gives you stuff that you forgot. Like, hey man, look, here's your axe back.
Yeah, the thing is, in Canada, everyone is really polite, even the monsters.
I don't get it.